All right, there we go. All right, homework out. Remember, when you're doing volume, your answer should be what?
Cube.
Cube. Okay. All right, number 10 is 31.2 cubic meters. Number 11 is 17 and 7/9 cubed yards. Number 12 is 37 and 1/27 cubed feet. 13 is 1.512 cubic meters. 1.512 cubic meters. 14 is 241 and 5/16 cubed inches. Yes, Eli.
Can you do the proper fraction into square?
Now, if you did it, you need to make sure you put it back to a mixed number. What did you have for the improper fraction? On number 11, if you had it the improper fraction, you should have had 160 over 9. But always make sure if you have an improper fraction, you make it back to a mixed number. Okay? Yes.
What was number 14 again?
14 is 241 and 5/16 squared inches. All right. Number 16 on that page is 1,157.625 squared, cubed centimeters. And number 17 is 3 3/4 cubed feet. 3 3/4 cubic feet. All right, I'm on the back side. Page 440. Number 18 is box A, because box A's volume would be 172.5 cubic inches. Box B is 172 1/8 cubic inches. Okay, that one was a lot of work to it. Okay, not that most of these aren't, but number 9, it says if she wants to use the box with the greatest value, should she use C? Yes, it says explain. So if you didn't explain, it is incorrect. The box of C is 231 cubic inches, which is greater than the volume of the box A and B. Okay? Number 20 is 6 3/4 yards. That one is not cubed because it already gave you the area. That one you had to work backwards. They were not looking for the area on that. Yes?
What was number 13?
13, we'll go back to there in just a second, okay? Yes?
Are we doing repeating?
No, not yet. Number 23 is 17.5 cubic inches. 17.5 cubic inches. Now, do you need me to repeat it? Eli? 13 is 1.512 cubic meters. Anybody else need to repeat it? Brittany?
I accidentally did 15.
Okay, that's fine. So, if you did 15, what is the volume of the prism? How many cubes are there for each length, width, height in the prism? Okay? Now, huh? Now, what did you get for the volume?
5.625.
Now, here's the thing. They gave you the volume in what? Did they give it to you in fractions or decimals? So put it back to a fraction. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then your length, if you would have went that way, it was 5 cubes. Your width was 3 cubes, and your height was 3 cubes to go along with that. But otherwise, your volume would have been correct. Yes, Jade?
I did mixed numbers.
Mixed numbers for,
11, 12.
well, yes, 11 would have been 17 and 7/9.
No, sorry, I mean 12, sorry.
12 would have been 37 and 1/27. You should have done mixed numbers on those. 13, 14 should have been 241 and 5/16. Any other ones?
17.
17 would have been 3 3/4. Okay. Anybody need me to repeat it? Yes, Kate? Nope. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to change things up just a tad today. Now, you always know on the second day you can review with me. If you completely bombed it, you can review with me. Even if you didn't completely bomb it, you can still review with me. Okay, I'm not that scary. Huh? Well, yeah, I did.
Vomit.
Oh, vomit. I thought you said vomit. No. Well, I hope you're not. All right, so I'm going to put it up on the board because if you're reviewing with me, I'm going to do it up on the big board here. You have two options. Well, you have a few options, okay? There is one virtual nerd if you need to review over it. Okay, if you think you've kind of got it and you just need to rewatch it, rewatch the video. Okay. There is the Excel practice on there as well. Okay, if you need help with that. Okay. Then you have the 7-8 quiz. Okay. I'm going to change this a little bit because one thing I noticed is to get 100 on some of these quizzes, it's kind of hard. Okay. And I'm not necessarily asking you to be perfect. I just want to know if you know the skill. So if you get an 80% or higher, you only have to do the 5 hardest on your homework. But that does not mean go do the quiz if you don't know what you're doing, because I'm taking a grade for the quiz if you decide to take it. That is your option, okay? So same thing here still applies. 80% or higher, you can play Prodigy. 60% or lower, and you need to go to IXL. Then you need to review. Now here's the thing. You need to go to the 5th grade standards and type in EE14, okay? It does not have the fractional lengths on it. It only has decimals to review on this. So if you get to the quiz and you've completely bombed it and you need to review it, if you're struggling on the fractions part and not the decimal part, come back to me and we'll work on it. Does that make sense? Okay, let's get moving where you need to go. If you're reviewing with me, you're coming up to the board.
You need to bring an extra sheet of paper.
Yeah, bring an extra sheet of paper to show your work. Or to rework your work. All right, so if you're reviewing with me, we're up here. Now, how many of you that are up here don't have a clue what you're doing with volume? You don't understand volume.
I look at you.
Okay, but here's the thing. Do you not understand volume, or do you forget how to multiply fractions and decimals?
I'm not even sure
Okay.
I did the
And we'll figure out.
actual thing right.
Okay. Anybody else completely struggling? Have a seat. Eli, if you can't see, come on up here.
Oh, sorry.
You're kind of in the middle. Okay.
I was completely lost at first, and then Sandy helped me out a little bit.
Okay. So do I need to do kind of a short reteach? Okay. So how do I find volume?
With
Right. I take my length, my width times my height. So my volume equals my length, my width, and my height, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the reason volume is cubed is because I would be taking, let's say if I had inches here. Now, I'm going to make this real simple because I want to make sure you understand the grasp of volume before we add on to the fractional lengths and the decimals, okay? So if I have 2 times 3 times 4, let's do inches here. If I do 2 inches times 3 inches times 4 inches, explain to me how I would solve this. Colton?
You would do your 2 times 3 first.
And I'd get?
6.
Okay, now if I take inch times inch, what do I get?
square inches.
Squared. And then I multiply it by my 4 inches, right? That is how, that's why it's cubed.
Well, that was half my problem because as soon as you said cubed, I was like,
Okay,
there's my
so does that make sense how we find volume? That right there is volume in itself. Okay? That's the simplified version. This is not what you had on your homework last time. Okay? Your homework went the next step because you guys worked on volume last year. So what we're working on now is we're working on multiplying those decimals and multiplying those fractions. Okay? First thing I have to tell you is you're going to have to be extremely neat because you're going to have to be able to solve your work. Okay, so which ones do we need to go over? Okay, or Jaden, if we're being too loud for you and you need to move, you're more than welcome to. All right, Aaron.
11, 12, 14.
Okay, hold on. We're going to do this a little bit different. How many of you need to go over some through 11 through 13? Okay. How many of you need to go over 11? Or I'm sorry, 10 through 13. 10 through 14. Let's do 10 through 14. How many of you need to go over 10? Okay. 11.
Wait.
What? Do you need 10? We'll go over it. 11. 12. 13. 14. And I kind of figured 14. Now, why do you think I probably said I figured 14? What's different about 14, Kate?
There's a 1/4 and then there's 1/2.
Okay. What else about 14 is a little bit
That's how I
different?
figured it out.
Okay. So they've changed your they've changed your fractions a little bit, right? It's also a word problem. Now, it's not a terrible word problem, but it's not straightforward like our other ones are, right? Okay, so let's look at 10. Let's work out our straightforward one. Now, I'm going to start with my equation on each one, just so I remember what I've done. Okay? So on number 10, my volume equals 1.2, 1 2/10. Now, one thing I will tell you, and I don't know about you guys, but I will use the X when I'm multiplying decimals because what tricks me is when I put my dot here, my mind throws me off, and I'm not sure if this becomes a decimal or if this is just a multiplication sign that I put too far down. If you can figure it out, do what works for you, okay? So then I have times 6.5 times 4. All right, who missed number 10? All right, so what did you multiply first? What two numbers did you multiply by first?
6.5 and 4.
Okay, 6.5 and 4. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. 25, 26. I have one decimal spot, so I go over one decimal spot. Did you get 26 when you multiply?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm going to take 26 times 1.2. So I'm going to take 26 times 1.2. Remember when I multiply decimals, okay? Right here, up on my board. When I multiply decimals, ignore the decimal, multiply as usual, count the numbers of digits after the decimal, okay? 2 times 6 is 12, bring my 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Bring my 0 placeholder. Did you already figure it out?
And this already messed up in that, but in my work, I got it all right, but I put 31.4.
So you had it? You just wrote the answer down wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, Wow.
Like, even on my work, I just put, it was 2, 0, and I put 31.4.
yes, Lane.
Oh, we're about to have it.
Okay, we'll get some. Thank you. All right, so here's my 0 placeholder. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. I'm going to add, and I get 31.2. I've got one decimal point.
Do we only need to work out the ones we missed? We work out.
Yeah, if you understood it and you got it on your homework, yes. So, Eli, where did you mess up on this one? Do you know?
I think I got my work right.
You have it right there.
Oh.
Did you just not write it down right? Yeah. You have the hard part done. Huh?
I wrote 3.4.
So you had it right.
So you add.
Chris, that was your same issue too. You just put it down. Okay? The work you had. All right, so now let's look at 11. Now, if I have to figure out why you've missed 11, it's because it's the fractions. If I would have to guess, not that I know for sure, but to be able to multiply it, you have to remember we've got to do steps first. So I have 5 1/3 times 1 2/3 times 2. Who missed number 11? Okay. So, Aaron, what is my first step here?
I wrote down my equation.
Okay.
And then I did 1 2/3 times 5 1/3.
Can I do that yet? Yes.
It says that the correct answer is 31.1 foot.
This is my final answer.
My answer was 31.50.
Did they give it to you in fractions?
Yeah.
Then you need to go back to a fraction. You have to go back to what they gave it you originally. Okay. Now, what do you have to do with 5 1/3 and 1 2/3 first?
I got 189
Can I multiply those right now?
No, I didn't do it like that.
Okay, so
I
what do I have to
changed
do
it
first?
to
Make it a what?
Make it a
What's that word called?
Improper
I have to make it an improper fraction. So 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16 over 3. Did you get that? Okay. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5 over 3. Did you get that?
Yes.
What'd you do with your 2?
2. Oh.
Yep.
I didn't put it. Wait, no, I did. I multiplied that already.
Okay, so you multiplied first.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you take 16 times 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you multiplied 16 times 5, you got 80. 80 over what?
9.
Okay.
I say 2.
Times what?
2.
Over.
I didn't do that. I changed it to a normal fraction again.
What is 2 as a fraction?
2 over 1.
Right. So now I have to do 2 over 1 and multiply it. Does that make sense why?
I got that.
Oh, you did do
160
this?
over 9, yeah.
Okay. So I get 160 over 9.
How do I get my division wrong? I don't.
But here it's showing you, Aaron, though, at least if you're seeing that it's division, it's not that you're not understanding the skill. You're just making little mistakes going through.
What was
This should have been the hard part. The answer on number 11 was 17 7/9.
I don't know why I keep doing it into a fraction and then I change it to a decimal and
Now.
I don't change it back.
Here's the thing I want you to make sure. If the problem gives you it in a fraction form, the answer needs to be in a fraction form. If the answer gives you it in a decimal, the answer needs, or the problem's in a decimal, your answer needs to be in a decimal.
I did it and then it kept going like repeating
And that's
why I scratched it and I did it again and it just kept going. I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I doing wrong?
Because you
I
get
don't
put in a
know.
fraction. Right. So does that make sense then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now let's look at number 12. How many of you missed number 12? All right. So I have 3 1/2, or 3 1/3, 3 1/3, and 3 1/3. Okay. 3 1/3 times 3 1/3 times 3 1/3. Okay, that equals my volume. Length times width times height. What is my first step here, Brittany?
You have to turn those to an improper fraction, which would be 3 times 3 equals 9 plus 1 equals 10 over 3.
Right.
Times 10 over 3.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do first. Look at your paper. If you missed this one, did you convert them to improper fractions the correct way?
Yes.
Colton, did you? Yeah, you're right here, so you're good yet. Oh, I already see what you did. Maybe. Okay. So, right now, my 10 times 10 is what?
100.
100 over what?
9.
9 times 10 over 3 equals what?
5,000.
1,000 over 27. When you multiply, did you get this correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No. What did you get?
I forget to do the bottom part, so I only do it over 1.
Gotcha.
And I
You
got
have to-
1,000 for my answer.
Okay. You have to make sure when we have this up here somewhere. When I multiply fractions, multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and simplify. Okay? You've got to make sure that you multiply the denominator. You don't do it when you add and subtract, but you do it when you multiply. Okay? All right. So now I have to find out what this is as a mixed number. So I take 1,000 over 27. Can 1,000 or 27 go into 1?
No.
Can it go into 10? Can it go into 100?
Yes.
How many times?
3.
3. So then I'm going to take 27 times 3. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. I've got 81. Now, when you subtracted, did anybody mess up on your subtraction?
Yeah.
You messed up on your subtraction. What did you do here? Did you forget to make this a 9?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got 19.
So that was.
You should have.
Going to do the 4. That's where you did 4.
Oh, I subtracted wrong on my actual.
Okay.
We didn't have.
Oh, okay. You redo, you messed up. Well, don't do that. So then I'm going to bring my 0 down. How many times does 27 go into 190?
But then that's what you got over here. You got 47.
What?
That's fine.
Did you say?
I was thinking-
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's what I said.
7.
6.
Here's how
I don't remember what I did. 12?
Yeah.
7. 9, 4, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And I get 189.
Wait, what?
Oh, you changed it.
Yes, I changed it.
Gosh, I got 169.
So then, so your multiplication was off. So then when I subtract, I get 1 less.
3 and 1, 27.
Oh, yes.
21.
Okay. Does that make sense? All right.
When I did this, I had no clue what I was doing, and that's why I missed it.
So does it make sense now?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to continue with us? Okay, great. And that's part of the reason I do this the second day, especially when I know we have a sub the day before, because I know sometimes the sub may teach it differently, or maybe you just don't get it the first day. Okay. So,
I don't know.
bless you. You did what?
I didn't.
All right, but you're understanding it now, right? Okay, good. All right, so number 13. How many of you missed 13? All right, so I have 2.4 times 0.7 times 0.9. Okay? What did you multiply first there, Colton? 2.4 times what? Okay, so let's do 2.4 times 0.9. 6, 3, 18, 19, 20, 21. What? Oh. So I have 2 decimal places.
Sorry.
When you multiply, did you get 21 or 2.16? Did you see your 2 decimal points? Okay, do you see that now though? I have 1 here and I have here, so I need to do it here. 21 point, oops, I almost said that wrong again. 2.16 times 0.7. Okay, so now I have 2.16 times 0.7. Now, how many of you, when you do your math, when you do like your 0.7, how many of you do it right here and multiply it on this one? Do any of you do this or do you rewrite it? Now,
If I don't have enough room, I write it under that.
when I was doing my review on this and I was doing it, this is when I notice is when I'm making a lot more errors because I don't have enough room to write my numbers that that carry over. So like it's getting caught up here and I don't. So maybe look at your paper too when you're doing it See if that's what's maybe throwing you off.
When I
Okay.
do that, I
That's your
don't
second
usually get it wrong, but I look back and like I think it's easier to look back and see what's going
And it may.
this one and then this one and this one. Yeah, I think it's easier.
Right, maybe you can find it easier. Personal preference. Jane, go ahead and put that on my desk and then you can go. Okay, so then 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 7 times 2 is 14, 15. 1, 2, 3 spots. 1.5, 1, 2.
I did that times 108.